guys, we had a full load of beautiful ash firewood poles, and now they are all dumped out here in the yard. Just brought these puppies home with me. This is some really nice stuff that we're gonna add over here to the stockpile. Really nice diameter stuff, not too big. I'd say the biggest stuff is probably like this log right here, or that log right there, and it's like maybe 16, 18 inches. So this is some really nice straight crotch-free stuff. We are going to be adding it to the log pile here using Kubota tractor, and of course the Wicked Grapple up front and big tool rack in the back for some ballast. Well, that didn't work. Well, all right, guys. The Wicked Grapple and tractor made quick work of that log pile, and this thing just continues to grow, but it is a thing of beauty. There's a lot of really nice wood in there. You know, some bigger than others. Ideally, this is like the size stuff that I would love to get all the time. You know, that was in this truckload today. You know, the bigger stuff, it yields a lot more wood, but it also takes longer to cut, and it's more, you know, labor intensive to move around and get to the splitter. So this smaller stuff, a lot of this will be perfect size wood for the 6-way wedge over on the RuggedMade splitter. But before we get to that stuff, we got to get to all this stuff, which is kind of what I wanted to talk about now. It's a pretty cold day out. It was like touching 82 degrees last week at the end of the week, and now today it's like barely hovering in the mid 40s. But all of this wood that my neighbor brought me a couple weeks ago that was like already cut up and it's not really to the right size, I've been doing a lot of thinking on, because as you guys know, if you've been following along, it's a lot of work to have to recut up all that stuff to like 16-inch pieces. We got to pull it out of the pile, cut it, restack it in front of the splitter, move it to the splitter, split it, and then finally stack it into the IBC totes, instead of just taking stuff out of the log pile there, marking it with the Mingo marker, cutting it once to 16, and then pushing it over to the splitter with the machine. That way is a lot more efficient. This way, not so much. So I've really been scratching my head trying to think what I can do to minimize the amount of times that I have to touch it. And the simplest answer really is just not to cut it again. But I was trying to avoid that because the 16-inch pieces really fit in the IBC totes well. You can do the 2 rows and then throw a couple pieces in between to keep the rows from shifting around when I pick them up with the tractor. But, you know, if this wood isn't cut to 16 and, you know, there's some 20-inch pieces, there's some 18-inch pieces, some maybe even longer than 20, really doesn't fit in the totes all that well. And then I'm not getting an accurate measurement in the totes. However, Chris and I have been planning to build for quite some time now a firewood stand to put at the end of each of our driveways. He has actually already started construction on his, but he has also accumulated all of the pallets and materials that we're going to need to build mine. So a light bulb kind of went off, and I was thinking, why don't I just take all of this firewood that's already cut up, and it's perfectly good firewood, it's just not really well suited to be stacked in the IBC totes for long term, because I only have a limited number of IBC totes, so to speak. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use all of this wood over here, and this will be the first stuff that we sell out of our 2 firewood stands. Now, I know it's not going to be cut to 16 inches. It's not going to be perfect firewood, yada, yada, yada. But you know what? It's a good way for me to get rid of it. And I can split up all this stuff, and I don't even necessarily have to stack it in IBC totes. I can just put it off in a pile somewhere and pull from that pile to refill the stand as time goes on. So that's definitely going to be something to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. I don't know exactly when I'm going to get to it. This is my busy time of year. Everybody's calling, phones ringing off the hook. Everybody wants tree work done. I had trees fall over the winter, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to be doing a lot of tree work. I'm also going to be trying to split a bunch of firewood because I don't want to run out for next year. I want to have enough for me. I want to have enough for my father, and I want to have enough to sell. So that's kind of the plan. As far as the firewood goes here, I'm hoping to get a lot of this split up, at least this pile. I don't know when I'm going to start attacking this big log pile, but get this pile of cut up rounds split up as soon as possible. So guys, this was just kind of a quick video showing unloading the trailer and stacking up the firewood logs. Firewood is not dead as the summer starts creeping in. We got plenty of work to do here. Now, I'm sure some of you are gonna say, well, you got all this firewood to split. Why don't you just fire up the splitter and make some firewood? There's a couple reasons why. One, I don't have any gas back here right now. I need to head to the gas station, fill up all of my gas cans. I've been out for a while now. Two, none of these totes are cut up. I am currently out of empty IBC totes that are ready to be filled up. So I'm gonna need to cut open these last 4
and process them. And then my buddy Chris, where I go to get these totes, he has about 12 more of these big 330-gallon ones for me. So plenty more of them to come. I just don't have any ready to go right now to start and fire up the splitter.
Just a couple other things that are going on around the Dude Ranch here. I'm going to take this time now to just kind of explain some stuff because it isn't the best day out. Chris isn't here to help me split. It goes a lot faster when I have him. But the International Dump Truck, unfortunately, I brought it to the transmission guy. I don't know if I ever mentioned this in any of the videos, but when I bought the truck, I knew that supposedly it had a couple issues with some of the synchros in gears like 2 and 3 especially. Brought it to the transmission guy. He tried adjusting the clutch. He then said that he had to drop the transmission because it was something internal. He went into the transmission, looked at it, and gears 1, 2, and 3 are pretty much shot. He said it was a miracle that the thing was still engaging and going into gear. As a matter of fact, he said it's definitely not safe to drive on the road. So because of that, and because it's not just a simple fix like the synchros, and I need all new gears, I'm actually just putting a whole new transmission into the truck as well as a new clutch. We're gonna, cough up the money and do it right the first time. My motto has always been, do it once, do it right. So we're gonna get that thing back on the road. Hopefully by the end of this week, beginning of next week, it should be done. The wait time on a new transmission is only like 4 or 5 days, as opposed to just buying the gears to rebuild the existing transmission, which is like a 7 to 10 week lead time, if you could believe that. And a whole new transmission, as opposed to just buying the gears 1, 2, and 3, is only really $200 more. Now, it's not a brand new transmission. It's a totally rebuilt and re-geared transmission. It comes with a 1-year warranty. It is a Spicer brand, so I'm excited to have that, because ever since I bought this truck, it's kind of been a pain in the butt to drive around. I was able to learn and kind of finagle the gearing and how it likes to be shifted, but it's always kind of been a pain. Couldn't really downshift anywhere past 4th gear. Trying to downshift into 2 and 3, it would really grind, and you would really have to kind of like force it, jam it in. And that's all because, these gears were just shot. The synchros were shot. So this truck deserves it. I've been using it, working it a lot, and now it'll just be all the better and safer. Definitely, most importantly, safer going forward into my busy season here. So I'm really looking forward to getting that truck back. Once we get that back, we'll probably take a trip up to Chris's with the SureTrack dump trailer and load up both the flatbed and the trailer full of IBC totes, so that we can make plenty more firewood going into the summer here before it gets too hot. So anyway, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up this video here. Just a quick little update of a couple things going on around the Dude Ranch, and showing you this beautiful wood that I brought home today. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, please give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Questions, comments, or feedback on anything that I discussed or did today, throw it down in the comments section. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.